Welcome to the London Outlook for Monday, the 8th of January 2024. Starting off with the economic calendar, there is no red folder news events for the day, which essentially means that there are no considerations or impacts to consider with regards to economic news releases. Then moving on to the 4H chart, nothing much has changed from December. Essentially, we continue in this confirmed bullish market structure on the 4 hour. However, in terms of interpreting what price is currently doing, as you can see in this pro trend leg specifically, everything has been efficiently mitigated, with this being the last pro trend extreme OB to trade from. That OB has failed, and now there is nothing to the left on the 4 hour to support the generation of a 15-minute pro trend leg, and therefore this essentially means, in terms of actually validating trading long pro trend, we need this OB to be body broken right here, and then we can consider continuing to long, because at that point a primary leg on the 4H will be validated. Yeah, so that's essentially the outlook in terms of longs. Essentially, there is no scope for longs, not until we body break this level. And then what you can see is that the pullback phase was validated when this 4H OB right here was body broken, validating this pullback phase primary leg. And although the pullback phase has achieved its target, we do have the last point of supply to consider shorting from. Last week Thursday, price did react to this level, came down, swept the low, and then came back up. However, given that we're still inside this OB and have essentially reset the reaction point, we can now look for a new secondary leg to be validated on the 4H, which would then enable us to continue shorting. From a daily perspective, I just want to point out the fact that we've had 3 bullish consecutive close candles, which essentially validates or makes us have a daily bearish bias, because the fourth consecutive bullish day is unlikely, and it's more likely than not that today will indeed close bearish. Having said all of that, I think it's quite clear that only shorts make sense for today, and from that perspective we essentially need to validate the secondary leg on the 15 or 5 minute or 30 minute. However, on the 15 and 30 minute, the only valid level to be broken would be this level right here, and at that point we already essentially achieved our target. Another thing to point out is that we are trading counter trend, and thus we require IRL to be able to continue to trade to the downside, and from that perspective that IRL is only visible on the 5 minute. So you can see within this leg there is IRL excuse me, and then obviously on the 5 minute we can find a valid chalk level, which is right here, to then validate the secondary leg. However, it's yet to be broken or wicked, and until that happens we can't validate the secondary leg. However, once we do validate the secondary leg, it will be essentially validating a new leg in the current day, and that means we can anchor our fib to the current high of the day, or the previous high of the day, both of which would be valid. So something like that, and also something like this, and we can consider trading from both of these levels depending on what presents for the day. I'll remove those markings until we actually have validation, and then at that point I will consider trading. Just some things to consider as we progress throughout the day, one being previous session liquidity, the other being the London lull, and then obviously New York based trading. However, of course New York can't put in a new high of the day because there is no red folder news events that would support it. So yeah, that's an unlikely scenario. And yeah, I don't think there's anything further to add. So I guess just to conclude, we're only trading shorts today. We have targets right around here at the last point of IRL and then obviously the extreme. Um, but yeah, like I said, there's no scope for longs and we're only shorting for today. That essentially concludes my end of day review for today, and we'll chat again for the New York outlook.